Flashbox Fiction presents From a View, written and narrated by Wilson E. Clark. Natalya felt her heart flutter as the man entered the room. He was so handsome in his tuxedo, tailored to fit perfectly around his well-built physique. The shirt, pants, and jacket were a rarity these days, since most retailers, even the high-end ones, sold automatically adjustable clothing. Old money, Natalya thought. Only a man from old money would have the taste for a hand-tailored suit these days. It just wasn't something most people did amidst the hustle and bustle of modern life. Natalya watched as the man closed the door and made his way across the opulent penthouse. No expense had been spared on the lavish furniture and decorations. Her eyes left the man for a moment to observe the couches and chairs, wondering if they were authentic late 21st century. Given his tuxedo, she'd wager they were. In one hand, the man carried a small package, a gift no doubt for his wife, girlfriend, or significant other. Natalya couldn't help feeling a small twinge of jealousy as he placed the package on the dining room table and fetched an empty crystal glass from the nearby cabinet. What did he buy? Natalya wondered. Is it something I would want for myself? She stared once more at the man. Is he someone I would want for myself? She waved the thought away as the man moved behind the liquor cabinet and kneeled down to open one of the doors. He sported a short buzz-cut hairstyle, and Natalya smiled. He may have money, but he's not self-conscious. Although the majority of his scalp was still covered with dark brown hair, the man was not vain enough to hide the early traces of male-pattern baldness. Money, modesty, and taste made for a nice combination. After downing a shot of tequila, the man took off his coat. Natalya couldn't suppress a smile as his muscles rippled through the form-fitting shirt. He went to the center of the room and pulled out his phone, using the device to turn on a set of speakers in one corner. After doing so, the man put the phone back in his pocket, held out both arms, and began to move by himself in a circle. Viennese waltz. Natalya smiled once more. And he's a good lead by the looks of it. Her heart fluttered again as she imagined herself in his arms, their feet and bodies moving together in 3/4 rhythm. Together, they danced around the penthouse, and Natalya could almost feel the warmth of his hands on her skin and hear the music, probably a standard like the Blue Danube Waltz. Natalya closed her eyes for a moment and hummed to herself. Do 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 do. After a few seconds, she opened her eyes once more, and everything came to a halt as the man pulled the phone from his pocket. She watched his lips as he spoke. "You're working tonight? I'm sorry to hear that, sweetheart. How about I come over to your place instead? It's closer to your office anyways. When you're done, we'll spend the rest of the evening together." "That would be wonderful. I'll see you in a few hours." The man removed the phone from his ear and used it to shut down the speakers. He grabbed the package from the dining room table along with his coat before heading towards the door. Natalya's heart began to race, realizing he was going to leave the penthouse. Her man was about to get away. Her eyes followed him to the door, and as he reached for the handle, her finger pulled the trigger. A red bolt flashed across the night sky, went through the penthouse window, and struck the man in the left shoulder blade. His entire chest cavity glowed red-hot for a moment as his heart and vital organs were incinerated. The man stood still for half a second, his arms still reaching towards the door, before he collapsed like a pile of bricks, already dead before hitting the floor. A few measures of the Blue Danube Waltz played through Natalya's mind as she packed up her weapon and glanced at the penthouse. Without magnification from the rifle scope, the penthouse seemed further away than the half-mile it actually was. "Sorry, my dear," Natalya thought. "It's not personal, merely business." Her mentor had warned her about mixing business with pleasure, and Natalya knew she'd probably gone a bit too far this time. She didn't know the name of her target or anything about his life. He was just a job, another nameless person to kill. Still, while he didn't have a name, he did have a face, one of many that would stay etched in her memory forever, along with something else. "I don't know what kind of man you were," Natalya said as she stood up with her rifle in hand and walked away from her vantage point. "But thank you for the wonderful dance. Viennese waltz was always my favorite." Hello, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Flashbox Fiction. Be sure to like and subscribe for new stories. And until next time, remember, stay weird.